Welcome to the Beatrice Institute YouTube channel. I'm your host, Ryan McDermott. I'm a professor of English at the University of Pittsburgh and faculty director of the Beatrice Institute, an ecumenical learning and research community that supports advanced inquiry in the Christian intellectual and cultural traditions. Animated by intellectual friendship inside and outside the academy, Beatrice Institute serves all who pursue the beautiful, the true, and the good. This episode reprises the live stream concert that singer-songwriter Joel Gunderson performed for Beatrice Institute on Zoom and YouTube. And what you're going to hear here is a brief interview that I do with Joel about the project of liturgical poetry and music composition that led up to this concert. We'll hear the 7 songs of the concert and then have a Q&A time at the end. Enjoy. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ryan McDermott. I'm the executive director of... Sorry, I'm not the executive director. I'm the faculty director of the Beatrice Institute, which is a Christian Studies Institute in Pittsburgh. I'm also a professor of English at the University of Pittsburgh. And the Beatrice Institute is really lucky to host this live stream concert from Joel Gunderson. Joel and I were really close friends in college, and we've been in close touch ever since. And Joel has developed a really remarkable career as a poet and as a songwriter, but you won't probably have heard of him unless you're from our college local community, and that's because Joel is making poetry and music in the way that most poetry and music has been made throughout history prior to the era of mechanical reproduction. And that is for the people around him in his communities who matter most to him. And what he's been doing over the last 4 years, despite having a really demanding job and family, 3 young kids, is he's been committing to a discipline of poetry writing over the season of Lent. And so, Joel, can you tell us a little bit about how this came into being and what your basic method was to begin with?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started the process 4 years ago and sort of pre-planned for Lent, drawing inspiration from different works, writing to people like you and poets and other friends to pull together a sort of structure for what would happen with Lent. And so what happened with Lent was that all poems were written orally, in that I got my iPhone out and started recording, would pause. There would be no retakes. It would just, I could use the pause button, but I would write each poem orally each day. The first year I had about 7 people who I had asked to commit to receiving the poems each day. And so 7 people would get a text every weekday during Lent. And then the next 2 years, it kind of blossomed into a bigger production with about 30 people, 40 people receiving a text every day of these somewhat automatic poems, but I hesitate on that because I feel like there was a lot of pre-thought and a lot of research going into the Lenten poems. And
why didn't you just, sit down for 2 hours each day and write them down?
Yeah, so that came out of my faith tradition, or the faith tradition of my parents, which is a charismatic tradition. This idea of sort of this automatic filling of the Holy Spirit and bringing out prophetic language and bringing out sort of these extemporaneous exclamations of faith. So in a way, it was a revised idea of those sort of charismatic worship services that I experienced as a child.
And you, like, during these days, it's not as if you are at leisure. You're working, you're managing a restaurant, you're inventing wine on tap. What is that? So how does the rhythm of composition look like for you there?
Yeah, so I generally, again, it all came down to pre-thought. So kind of building up to Lent. So feeding myself richly before Lent with either biblical texts, digging into Isaiah or Jeremiah or the minor prophets or the Gospels, and then Allen Ginsberg, William Blake, different inspirations like that prior to Lent, and kind of creating a sort of Fat Tuesday of ideas, and then letting those carry me through Lent. So it wasn't like I had time to think about the poems through the day, but with these poems, it was kind of the first time in my process where it got close to songwriting, which is generally where I find a melody and I start singing lines until I find the first line of a song, and then every line is built off of that line. So most of the poems were built off of sort of a singular line that struck a sort of resonant chord with me, and then the musicality or whatever it was from that line fed through the rest of the poem.
And then in the past year, you've done this kind of collaborative process where you've asked people from your community and from your family to listen to the poems of the past 3 years and take on the responsibility for themselves of actually transcribing, editing the poems to give them a kind of final shape. And you recently published a selection of those in Omniverse. And how would you describe the byline to those?
Yeah, so it's a collaborative process with a fellow poet, Mark Cotelli, where I hand over the poems and give him sort of carte blanche to play with them. He hands them back to me, and then we go from there. So I guess I think that they are communal poems. I guess in that way, I would say that like the whole structure of this project was to create sort of a communal idea of poetry where, well, it might have started with me, it might not end with me, and there's multiple voices and multiple iterations to the poem. And I feel like music is close to that in that you often have people sitting down and covering somebody else's song and taking ownership of it in a different way. And I really like how that sort of collaborative process created that situation where Mark's voice on paper is very different than mine. So it was kind of really lovely to see these poems come alive in a way that I would not have done it, but still see the original inspiration in them, but a sort of different, perhaps, end structure. Yeah.
And are you and Mark working together right now?
You think we would be because of COVID, and we're also.
If that weren't the case.
Yeah, no, we are. Yeah, we are currently working and submitting to other locations and other publications.
But I mean, like just professionally.
Oh yeah. So he works for me. Yeah. He's our regional sales rep for Cooper's Hall.
Yeah, so I mean, one of the things that I find remarkable about this is that it's not just that you're working with family, the types of people that the types of relationships that we're initially the most comfortable with. It's that you're actually you're building community out of relationships that come out of what I think people in the poetry world and the overlapping academic world would call real life, and
Sure.
and I think that's remarkable. So how did so this year, instead of 40 poems for the 40 days of Lent, you composed 7 songs in 7 days during Holy Week. How did that come about?
Well, actually, a friend of mine asked if I wanted to trade songs. He would write a song, I'd write a song. It was right before Palm Sunday. I said, sure. He sent me a song. I sent him a song. And then I just kept sending him songs. So, and I did the poetry cycle this year was arrested by COVID and having to temporarily close our business. And so I would say that I composed these songs in a week, but they were in the writing through all of the other past years of the Lenten cycle. So, and then I wanted to push through, and I actually did it in the same way that I did the Lenten cycle, where people did receive these songs every day through that Holy Week. So everybody received a song a day up until Saturday, where the cycle ends.
Good, and that'll explain, I think, the kind of blend of Lent and Easter that we have here. Good Holy Saturday cycle. All right, so
I don't know if we made it to Easter, but we'll see.
All right, so is there anything else you want to say before you start?
No, just thanks to everybody who is watching right now, and these are all super raw and super personal. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we're gonna jump through it. I'm just gonna play everything straight through. I'm not gonna tell people the titles of the songs or anything like that. We're just gonna go through the cycle. And my son Ezra is going to join us for the second song, and we'll just keep going from there. And then, is there going to be? Did you still want to do a Q&A at the end?
So at the end, for anybody who is on the Zoom call or on the YouTube, if you're on the Zoom call, you can text, use the chat feature to let me know that you would like to ask a question at the end, and then I'll actually, if you want, unmute you and put you on the mic and on the video. If you don't, just chat the question and I can repeat it. Same goes for those watching on YouTube. If you want to just put a question in the chat, then I'll repeat that, and we'll have time to talk at the end. All right.
Let's do it.
Take it away.
Line them up in a row. You build that fence, and then you go. The Holy Spirit has now laid you to rest. He has filled your lungs, and He has touched your breast. Now I'm driving down 82nd Street. My brother is trembling in the passenger seat. staring straight ahead, because the phone just rang, and our mother has just told us about that last song you sang. Well, the King of Glory has finally come down to the gates and see what he has done. This wicked world will let him in, so let us rejoice and rejoice again. Now there's silence when I thought I had meant to speak, when I would reach out if I thought there were something left to reach. I would cry out if I thought there was something left to preach. But there are some things that a man can never teach. Take that stone and hold it to your chest. It is light as the wind, but it will catch your breath. What the King of Glory has left undone is a voice that will never come. All right, Ezra, do you want to come on over? Yeah, awesome. Want to welcome up to the stage Mr. Ezra Gunderson on the drums. Praise be the ashes and the dust. Praise be the body and its lust. Oh, praise be the hope that did not come. Praise be the knife when the deed is done. Oh, please be over. Oh, please be over. I close my eyes. I close my eyes and I say, praise be the devil in a song. Praise be the things we thought were wrong. Praise be that shallow open grave. Praise be all those things we thought would say. Am I still blind? Am I still blind? Is Is this the night? Oh, this is still the night. Them shadows always hail the light of day. That angel with the sword that cannot save. The valley where the flowers never bloom. The son of God who might have come too soon. Still praise me, praise me, praise me, praise me, praise me. All right. Ezra Gunderson on the guitar, on the drums. Thanks, buddy. All right, that's as happy as it gets. Sorry. Now, this final hour, within the rage of failed desire, won't you sing with me until the dawn? The time is never right, and the time is never wrong. Still, the darkness is not forever. Step into the light. No, the darkness is not forever. But we will remember this night. And oh, we will say, and oh, we will say, and now, in this final hour, when all that could be done has been done, but nothing has been answered. Oh, we will say, oh, we will say, that the darkness is not forever. Step into the light. No, the darkness is not forever. But we will remember this night. So this is possession. Oh me, oh my. And since the devil lacks discretion, I say, why me, oh why? And since the soil lacks repentance, I say, where is that latter rain? And since the sun won't bring redemption, I say, why, Lord, do I cry out in vain? Well, because I remember yesterday, oh, you were throwing back your hair. You were younger than all those promises. Oh, you said I would find in prayer. Still, this is possession. Oh me, oh me, oh me, oh my. And I can't fight without protection. Oh, then why, Lord, do you keep telling me to try? And there is no word of the Lord for today. Oh, there is no word of the Lord for today. There is no word of the Lord for today. Oh, there is no word of the Lord for today. There's only possession. Oh me, oh me, oh my. Oh, there's only possession. Yes, right. Monday, Thursday. Well, I wanted it to look the same. Oh, I wanted just to feel the shame. Oh, I wanted just to say the name. If only I had said it twice. Oh, broke my voice and split the ice, and tumbled down into paradise. But I couldn't speak again. If only you had come off your throne, oh, die like real flesh and bone. and turn the bread back into stone, then I could have found my way through the wilderness, sung with the angels, and found forgiveness. Open my eyes and seen salvation. Cried out to the hills and shaking the foundation. Well, I'm going back to where I'm from. I don't know what I've left undone. Well, I could have been a brighter sun. Oh, I guess I just don't know this place. I just know how to feel disgrace. Tell me, do I hide or race? If only what you said was true. If only I hadn't believed in you. Oh, if the blood could only see it through, and I could have found my way through the wilderness, sung with the angels, and found forgiveness. Open my eyes and seen salvation. Cried out to the hills, shaking the foundation. Well, lightning shreds the vast horizons. I saw you on the other side. You were full of false and fast surprises, but in truth you were my pride. I screamed at you for hours, and then I let you in. You promised to take my power, and then you promised, oh, you would take my sin. Oh, where do we begin? first appeared to me. He said, do not touch the flame. He said, you can cry out to me, but do not ever say my name. So I built a ruined temple, built in a ruined dream. I asked the Son of God to come to me. Then he said, come to me, come to me, come to me. Oh, comfort me. When lightning shreds the vast horizon, and in this land I am asleep, oh, I dream of worlds without you. And of something I can keep. Oh, I dream of worlds without you. 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 And oh, there are worlds without you. And oh, there are worlds without you. But sometimes these high windows still let in the light. Oh, my love, where will we be when these worlds collide? Oh, my love, you should have left for Dad when it should have died. And oh, my love, just because the candles are burning bright, well, oh, my love, that is just another way of saying that it is still the night. Oh, there are worlds without you. And oh, high windows, still let in the light. All right, that's a wrap. That's the cycle.
Thanks, Joel. We have one question from Zoom here.
Are you amplifying yourself?
There we go. All right. Thanks. We have one question from Zoom here. How do divine and human love work in your songs? Are you doing some kind of John Donne thing?
Oh, wow. I don't think I'm referencing John Donne for sure. I wish I were, but how do they work together? I think that I'm not really. I think I'm pulling the veil away from the divine and the mundane. So I'm pretty happy to let those metaphors kind of bleed together and be obscured. I think that, particularly in that last song, that the High Windows song, I think that clearly is pretty muddy, clearly muddy. So I guess I think there's this sense that we have to separate a sort of particular language when we're talking about one thing and have it over in one area, and then also have this other separate language over in a different area. And I think within the songs, I'm not willing to do that. I don't think we do that. I don't think there's like a clear like delineation between sort of like this supposed agape love and the love that we have for our children, our wife, or our lover, or whatever. I think it's, for me, it's muddier than that, and so I just let it kind of just be what it is. They get worked out in the songs.
Looks like we have one other question here. Let's see. What is the process of songwriting for you? Where do you get inspiration?
Generally from the melody line itself, I guess. So kind of like with the poems, I get inspiration from 42 years of living, I guess, at this juncture. But but as far as musical inspiration, I think there's some pretty obvious candidates like Leonard Cohen and Bob Dylan, Lou Reed. But as far as the songwriting is concerned, again, letting it. I think with these songs in particular, though, would probably be the prophets, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Lamentations in particular, the book of Joel, and sort of that sort of cycle of destruction and renewal, and sort of this necessary tearing down. I guess going back to the previous question about the difference between sort of romantic love and divine love, I probably see more violence in divine love than I do in romantic love. So I think that would probably be a delineation between the two.
Joel Gunderson, thank you very much. you're going to be reprising this
What's
show.
that? One more question?
Uh,
There's a question on YouTube as well, I guess.
oh, there's another question. I missed it. All right. Yes. Having a Poetry Fat Tuesday to carry you through Lent is such a beautiful idea. You look at all of the liturgical calendar in this way. How would this way of writing, for example, look different in Advent?
I've tried a few poem cycles in Advent, 1 or 2 years. I would say all of Advent is a feast already. In my mind, it's and then getting deeper into it, it's a 12th night. So I guess the sort of way that I have it both ways is that I get to like feast up for Fat Tuesday, but I'd also say that writing a poem a day during Lent is a particular luxury. I don't see Lent as abnegation, but rather making way for something more essential, and that it's actually a particular gift I give to myself, or so in some ways they're similar. I don't see a ton of like, I guess it's tricky. I don't see Advent and Lent or Easter being too far apart from each other. I see them both as sort of a really confusing time of hope and death and heightened emotion as well. So I think it's hard for me to completely differentiate between the two seasons.
Great. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you, Ryan.
We're going to be back here again in a little more than 2 hours at
Sorry, buddy.
10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, and also tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time and 7 p.m. Pacific Time. So if you liked what you heard, tell your friends and come on back. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated this episode, please click that like button and subscribe to our channel. And leave a comment. We love to hear from listeners. Chat with us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. And if you are a university student or faculty member in Pittsburgh and would like to be involved locally, check out our Fellows programs and get in touch. This episode was mixed and mastered by Yellow Music and Sound. Until next time, I'm Ryan McDermott. Go with God.